Hey guys, Hugo here, hope you're well. Welcome back to part number 3 of our QualityWings 787 tutorial. We have been flying for 6 hours and 16 minutes, so we've got about an hour and 10 minutes, hour 15 left on our flight time today. Cruising at 40,000 feet, and we had about 14.3 tons of fuel left. So this is part 3. This is the approach, descent, land. Well, descent, approach, then landing, and then shutdown as well. This is taking the aircraft down, part of the tutorial series. So what we'll be doing as we're at our cruise is going to program our approach into Baltimore. So I have active sky open. I can see the current winds are 0 degrees at 6 knots. Well, they're kind of variable. They're variable in all directions at 6 knots, which is kind of annoying, but it prefers currently at about 360 degrees, or 000 degrees, depending on what you want to say. Which gives us the 3-3s, the best runways to land on. So what we want to go and do is go to departure and arrival, the same way we programmed our departure, but we click arrival under Baltimore. Or whatever airport you're landing on. You choose the approach of, well, any approach actually, whatever you want to do. The runway is 33 left. We can't land 33 right, so we're going to be landing 33 left. That's the 3,000 meter long runway. We're going to be doing an ILS today. There's probably RNAVs available for you to use. RNAV isn't part of the 787 tutorial. It's like a tutorial on how to fly an RNAV in a Boeing or Airbus or whatever. But we're going to be doing the ILS today. Typically you'll get an ILS if this is the first time you're flying a plane or first time flying 787 or Boeing. You'll typically be doing ILS approaches. We're going to be doing the ILS into runway 33 left. And then it gives you a transition. This transition basically says where you want to transition into that approach. We want to transition into that approach at Jans, and the way we're getting there is via the Trish 3 arrival, like so. And then to transition into the Trish arrival, we are doing it via Nuggy, like so. Execute that, that'll enter it in. Go to our legs page, you can see Nuggies in there. And that'll take us all the way to vectors, and then after that will be Jans. We're going to clear out the vectors. We're going to go directly from Jans, from Hook. So, like I said in the last part, you can go and grab a waypoint, and then overlay it, and there you go. We're going to go from Hook to Jans, and execute that in, like so. Awesome. So if I go to the VNAV page, we can see our top of descent time. Our top of descent time is in half an hour from now. Our current sim time is 17:31, and our descent is 18:01. And half an hour after that will be our landing time into Baltimore. So that is the descent planned, and basically I will see you at top of descent for our descent. Right, we're just approaching top descent now. We got about, what is that, 17-ish miles, actually, gonna come down here, there you go. 14 miles until our top of descent. To descend in the Boeing, it's a lot easier than the Airbus. You just change this altitude on the MCP here to something lower than your cruise altitude. Once the aircraft comes past T/D, which is the top of descent, it will just follow the VNAV path down to whatever altitude you have pre-selected. I've just set 20,000 as a reference for now. I probably wanted to set it to like 4,000. There's no ATC. There's not going to be any other restrictions. So 4,000 is absolutely fine to go and clear ourselves down to. Obviously, it'll follow the VNAV path, which means it'll follow the rules of the 12,000 feet only mark here, and like 8,000 above, 11,000 below. And these speed restrictions as well. It'll follow all of that until it gets to K at 4,000 feet. And actually, we'll hold at 4,000 until Jans, and then we should be in the ILS by then for runway 33 left. So while we've got that pre-selected, we can go to the descent checklist. So We can see the recall is there's nothing there. Just make sure that there is nothing there. Then cancel the recall. There we go, and that's all good. Notes we have none, or if we do, well, like I said, it's a flight simulator. Who's going to make notes unless you're completely into it and you're learning for a type rating, let's say for the 787, or just learning like deep in general? Then you might have notes, but my notes are just the same as always. Just land the plane. Auto brake. Well, this is where you can go and use your EFP again. You come down to performance, and you want to go to show landing, and then copy FMC data. You go to dry. It is currently dry at Baltimore. Current winds are 0 at 5 knots. I think I need to do 0, 0, 0 at 5 knots. There we go. And 32 degrees, and it is 1015, like so. Well, actually, we are in America. It should be in inches, but we've already done it anyway. Right, we're gonna go actually gonna do manual. Flap 30, anti-ice off, no credit, and spoilers will be on auto. Actually, no credit, I didn't say that. This is the reverses. Basically, you can have one inoperable, if I can say that correctly. All off, basically meaning you're not going to use any reverses, or no credit, basically meaning it's all good. And then brakes, well, the keyboard's in the way of everything. But you can set this to all. Landing rate would have already got calculated from the aircraft's weight. Just click calculate. And don't do an add VREF here, because it's going to add to your landing speed. Your landing speed is going to be either 140 or less. We'll be able to land autobrake 1, which gives us 8,000. Well, we will use 8,288 feet if we use autobrake 1, and there is 9,501 feet of available runway space. So we can easily be fine with doing autobrake 1, but sometimes it may not be the optimal. Let's say you wanted to vacate earlier than you would want to do. Let's say you wanted to vacate, let's say 7,000 feet ish. Then you can get an autobrake 3. But this is no credit with the reverses. I don't know why it's no credit. There should be one that says like all operational, not all off, unless that is like, I don't know. I think no credit means they are on actually. Anyway, I want to vacate around about 7,000 feet into the runway. This will be hopefully giving us a shorter taxi. So we're going to go with the auto brake 3 for today. So auto brake 3 is now showing up. You can see we're in descent as well, which is nice. Landing data, VREF and minimum. So if you go to the init ref page down on your FMC, if you're like on this page, make sure you go back to CDU. Go to init ref, and we're going to click flap 30 at 140 and put it into here. You can land flaps 20 and 25 if you would like, be a bit more interesting, but we're going to be doing the standard flap 30 degrees at 140 knots. So just click that and plop it in there. Wind corrections +5, that's alright, that's okay. And minimums. So minimums you'll grab from the charts. If you don't know your minimum, if you don't have charts or if you don't have anywhere to find out, you can always do a radio of 200, which is default in the QualityWings. That basically means it will call out minimums at 200 feet above the ground. That's typically used, I would say that's typically used in a Cat 3 landings, if I remember correctly. But we are going to be using the Barrow today, because I have my charts and I know exactly what it is. In fact, it does say for the radio, if you're using radio, it does say 200 feet. So 200 feet is pretty much standard with RLSs anyway. So just click reset in the Barrow, and now it says 200 in the Barrow, but we want to set that to 340. And the reason why it's better to do a Barrow than a radio, let's say you're landing in rough terrain, well, hopefully not into the rough terrain, but around rough terrain, and a radio, like I said, it does it over the actual ground height. So if you're flying over bumpy terrain, the aircraft will probably continue saying minimums. Let's say if you kept going over 200 feet and then then the terrain will drop, so then you go above 200 feet and then it comes back up and then you go within 200 feet of the terrain, if that makes sense. So barriers is better because actually the AGL, it is the actual altitude of the aircraft compared to sea level. Anyway, that's done. Approach briefing, well, we went through that earlier, so that's all good. Right, approach is altimeters. We don't set that yet. The transition level in the US is 18,000 feet. We can actually go and set that in the VNAV page and forecast, and we'll set 180 into the transition level, like so. So when we pass 18,000 feet, this standard will go yellow in the yellow box, and it'll say, hey, I want to go and transfer to the local QNH, which is actually 290.906, because we had to use inches today. Now we're back in the US, so 290.906, and the same on this side, like so, 290.906. I might just click inches in there, just so when we next go into that, it'll be fine. Let's reset this heading to the current aircraft heading, like so. Awesome. So, I'll see you back. Actually, I'm going to do one last thing, and then I'll hand you off. I'll give you a 1 second break until we get to 18,000 feet. Let's go put the seatbelt signs on. Passengers get themselves seated for our arrival into Baltimore. So yeah, I'll see you when I get back at around about 18,000 feet. This part of the flight, once again, there's not much to do. Just wait around, make sure the aircraft descends perfectly and stays on its VNAV path. Yeah, I'll see you at 18,000 feet. Okay, here we are. Just passing, almost passing 18,000 feet. As we pass this waypoint. Mike X-ray Echo. And there seems to be an aircraft on our left, or an AI aircraft. Ah, there he is. Yes. No, it seems to be a lot closer than that, to be fair. Anyway, there's 18,000 feet passing, and like I said, standard goes in the yellow box, so we need to click that in like so. So, now we've set altimeters, so that can tick off, and this is our landing checklist. We don't need to look back at that for a very long time. Right. US approaches are always lovely and long, so what we're going to be doing is chopping it down, because it gets you low and slow. We are going to go all the way, actually not all the way to the ILS, we'll go to the one waypoint behind the ILS, which is Hook, and that will just take us direct. And there we go. You might not do this, you might not want to do this if you're flying offline, that is okay. Sometimes ATC might give you certain vectors. Let's go through some of the ways of vectoring in this aircraft. Like I said, if you know how to fly a typical Boeing, you should know how to do this already. So you simply, if they give you a heading, obviously select the heading that they have given you. Is this over around the turn? Or is it just, I don't know what it's doing. So if they're giving you a heading, let's say 225, you just click the select button. That'll take you out of LNAV, and your aircraft will head 225. And that is this line here. This triangle will go that heading. So there you go. Now it's reached that heading of 225. So the aircraft will actually point at a heading of 225, but it'll end up going at a heading of 222, or whatever it might be due to winds. Don't worry about that. ATC will know what to do. So that's how you do heading select. Just going to go back into LNAV. Let's say if they gave you a descent. Typically, in the descent-wise, they may say clear down to 4,000, but they might want you to go down to 4,000 without any restrictions, like bypass the restrictions through there. Sometimes I might say expedite, which basically means descend over speed, descend better, or descend faster than worry about speed. And the best way to get down to 4,000 as quickly as possible is activate flight level change. Flight level change will basically get the aircraft descending at 300 and whatever speed is in here, and it'll descend at that speed as fast as possible down to 4,000 feet. like I said, we're not going to be doing that. There's no need to, so I'll just activate the EBNav. That's how you just simply do the vectoring from the ATC. Okay. At 10,000 feet, we'll whack on our landing lights. We did turn them off at 10,000 feet out of Heathrow. So the same again, we'll turn them back on at 10,000 feet into Baltimore, or whatever flight you'll be doing in this aircraft. So I was just wondering, I was just going to come back to the video about 10,500, come back a little earlier, because now we're in the cloud. The HDR on PDB5 turns like, basically it simulates your eyes where it will, like, you know, dim out the cockpit if you look at the clouds. It's so bright. Obviously when you come back into the cockpit it's a bit brighter. It's just making me wondering, this is not a nighttime flight. Let's say you don't have to turn on the lights. So light turning on is simple. Come down to this left side panel, you turn on panel, that'll turn on the intake lights, like so. I'll do it for your main panel up here. And down here, you can do the same. That'll do the panel, like so. Don't need them on, but they can go off. The inner knobs on this is the floodlights, and you can tell, you can see what it does there. It'll turn on the floodlights. For the overhead wise, and the glare shield, or it calls it the glare shield, but the MCP, you can turn it on here with its respectable floodlight. There's no floodlight for the overhead. That's just got a normal panel light. Anyway, out of the cloud, 10,000 feet, landing lights can go on, and the turn-offs can go on too. If we were flying at night, we'll turn on the logo light, because the logo light is, well, shows off your airline that you're flying, or light up your logo on your tail, which is nice. Do we have sight of anything? We probably don't at the moment. The airport's around about 25 miles away from us, so yeah. Unable to maintain VNAV speed. Okay, so if it gives you that little warning, does not matter. It just says extend some speed brake. So we'll get the speed brake out. Give us some drag. And that'll slow us down to 240 knots. Typically in the 787, it'll always program 240 knots or less under 10,000 feet. So once we get to 240 knots, it should be able to hold itself there. If not, we're going to have to constantly hold out the speed brake. It should be a shame. Let's see if I get rid of it here now. Seems to be okay. Cool. That's all good. There are some aircraft by near me, actually. There's one descending, which seems to be coming my direction. It is descending, we're descending, so we shouldn't be on a collision course. It's descending faster than I am, which is good. We are speeding up again, but maximum 250 knots here. This aircraft seems to be a steady cruising altitude of roughly 10,000 feet, so that's all good too. Awesome. Sadly, there seems to be a little bug with V5. I can't kind of see it in the VC, but if I go outside, start to see these lines. I don't know how well it's going to come out on video, but there's these lines just in the ground. It doesn't seem to be showing the VC, which is nice, which is very good actually. I've just found the airport. There it is. But it's very weird. I think it's an Orbx issue. I'm not too sure. And what's causing all these masts appear? Obviously, that's definitely not what it should be like in the real world. They are underground, but they bleed through the ground, if that makes sense. They are underground, but for some reason they show in front of the ground. It's very weird to explain, but yes. Okiday? That's not a word, is it? Okie dokie, that's what I'm trying to say. There's the airport, just over there. We can actually, if you zoom in enough, we can see the runway landing on, which is here, 33 left. And the terminal's just there. I'm not too sure where we're parking at the terminal. Good thing is that Flight Radar 24 exists, so I can see. In fact, our MCP has just told us to, our FMC has just told us to slow down to 202 knots, so let's bring out full speed brake here and slow ourselves down. Yes, so we're going to be parking around about the north side of the terminal. Okay. That's all good. So the north side being around here. There. Okay, so we got a bit of a tight turn to get ourselves onto the ILS. There is another aircraft coming through, also at that altitude. If I can spot which one it is, I think it's that one. If I delete aircraft, it will pop off my radar. Yes, I think it was landing into Baltimore. I do not want to land at the same time as it. I'm going to put the approach mode on. That'll activate the ILS. It has turned early, this aircraft. It's grabbed the localizer, but it hasn't grabbed the glide slope, so it's going down to 3,000 feet, and we're just about to pass the little triangle there. Oh, we need to put the approach back on, and there we go, past the diamond, and that's grabbed our glide slope. So now we are flying on the ILS. I'm going to reset the MCP. You can set this MCP to whatever you want. Altitude wise, it says missed approach is 2,600, so I'll set that, and I'll slow ourselves down to final approach speed, which is going to be 145. At the same time, you want to bring out some flaps, because otherwise your aircraft will not slow down in time. Well, it will slow down if you don't bring out the flaps, but if you don't bring out the flaps, your aircraft will stall. Right, we're going to be landing with the HUD today. I don't like this setup for the landing. I just want to see the flight director. So if you want to get less information, just click the button on the top left of the yoke, and that'll bring you some nice, a bit cleaner and less cluttered HUD. Like so. So I've got flaps 5 coming out. I'll actually arm our speed brake once we have stopped or no longer need it. This aircraft just around the localizer, which is why it's just lining itself back up, which is good. Okay, the aircraft is slowing down. It'll take us time to get down to our final approach speed. We'll set the next set of flaps, like so. That's flaps 15, and at flap 15, you must bring the gear down before you can bring out any more flaps. If you bring out any more flaps, it'll start to warn you. So I'll get rid of the speed brake, I'll arm it, and I'll bring the gear down, like so. 2,500, just that little altimeter there. The radio altimeter, just in the saying, you're 2,500 meters above the ground. I can see the runway just there. So once the gear's down, I'll count up the green light saying gear is down. That's good, so you can bring down some more flaps. We're going to bring all the flaps out now to reduce the chance of stalling, and there's all the flaps coming out. Let's get rid of the HUD here. I can just show you more, and yeah, we can see we're landing on this runway. The Pappies, I think, are just on the left. Looks of things, yes, and there shouldn't be any traffic on the ground. Cool. Let's just reset that, hasn't it? Okay, so once you're happy and you're all stable, you can either leave the autopilot in, you can just leave it in as it is already at, and it will say just now land 3, which basically is that a land 3 or land 2? That's a land 3. Basically saying it's going to do an auto land. So with an auto land, you just leave it in, and you wait until you touch down. And once you touch down, you copy and do everything that I'm going to do when I touch down, because I'm going to fly it manually. And the way to disengage the autopilot is to click this button. It will moan at you, and you click it again, and it'll cancel the warning. 787 has a very nice feature of letting you keep the auto throttle in, so it will stay in, it will manage the speed for you, and all you have to do is worry about getting the aircraft on the ground. Once you are on the ground, you are allowed to override the throttles and put in the reversers. So coming up with the checklist here, land the checklists are complete, everything's ticked, we're all good to go. And auto brake is 3. Auto brake 3 has been armed. So just follow the flight director, keep the circles within each other, like so, and as long as you do that, all the way to about 50 feet, you're good. At 50 feet, you want to start the initial flare. Don't flare too much. We will begin to float the aircraft. The 787 is very easy to float because it is a wonderful, smooth airframe. So just keep it down to 50 feet, and if you can try and copy the way I'm landing this. Obviously practice it yourself on how to land this aircraft, and just make use of understanding it really. So it will say approaching minimums. Minimums, there we go. We are continuing the landing.
200.
I'll get a bit more concentrated here.
50.
There we go, 50, 40. We'll start the flare, it's gone idle. like I said, as a readiness or flare, and then you flare a bit more at the very end, and there you go, touchdown. Bring the nose down, nice and gently, and you bring out your reverse. It's going to be minimum reverse, and there we are. Reverse is out, and auto brake is active. Okay, once about 60 knots, you can bring the reverses in and manual braking. So just tap the actual brakes now, cancel the auto brake. You can see it's got no warning there, and just slow yourself down until you get to your next exit, which is here. So let's go and vacate. Right. Make sure don't vacate too fast. Keep it around about lower than 15, preferably. There we are, vacated Foxtrot, and we're going to go and taxi down this outer taxiway here. And we'll get ourselves around to the other side of the terminal. Not too sure there's white bits on the ground there. They're meant to be like a rain or snow texture, not too sure. So, HUD is no longer needed. There we are, flight time is 7 hours and 20 minutes. You're going to have this out. You don't want them always staying out, so you can bring the flaps up, either by using it, clicking it there, or your keybind. And you can also just get rid of the speed brake by just bringing up the lever back to normal. Right, you can clean up some of the aircraft, so reset the minimums. You can go and turn off the flight directors. Also, the alarm can go off. Weather radar can go off, like so. And you can come down here and you can set the TCAS to XPDFR, like so. And you make your way around to wherever you're going to park. Obviously, we're going to go around all the way to the other side of the terminal. Bit of a long taxi, but it is what it is. It's quite a smooth turn, so I'm going to keep it at 20 knots as it is there. I'm just going to go and double check on the exact stand I want to go and grab from my charts. Echo something. Let's go to the Echo stands. So, oh, it's for our airline. Nice. We'll go to Echo 1. No, do not want to request to follow me. And, well, I guess we'll take the airport terminal services. I don't want Delta. Don't want Southwest. Don't want AirTran. So, airport terminal services is the one to go for. There we go again. And make sure if you get given a route to taxi through the airport, you obviously use your airport map to see where you're taxiing. To your stand, Echo 3 is... Echo 1, sorry, is here. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So you can use your airport map, you can use your charts, whatever you want to use. Right, we still got the ultra brake message, so you want to turn that to off from the disarm position, like so, and let's turn it off and reset the whole system, ready for the next flight if you're going to continue in the return or whatever you're going to do. Yeah, that needs to be off. So your only warning is TCAS being off, which is a good thing. You don't want planes in the sky realizing that you're in on the ground with the air on. I'd feel to clean up the landing lights, or all the lights actually. It's my bad. Very silly of me. You should know this already, but you should just turn off them all, including the strobe, and tax light can go on. Okay. So let's taxi down here. Is that an old bump? I think it was. There was a lot of effect spray going on there. Okay, right. So we'll taxi down Bravo, and we'll take a left down Alpha Alpha. Or wherever it takes us to stand Echo 1. Actually, I think Echo 1's over there. Can we make our way through? I think I've just gone down the wrong way. I think we can make a... Yeah, we can go through there. Okay, we're good. I'm not very familiar with this airport, so... I think it was my second time flying here in the flight sim. Never been here IRL either, so I'm not very familiar with this airport. Yeah, we'll take it down here, and we'll take a left. I think I can see GSX ready over there. It's a green vehicle, or green and white. Lovely. Oh, this airport, it's got like hills everywhere, and this is elevated, and then like there's some ditches over there and everything. It's really nice. Here we go, Alpha Alpha. Lovely. Take the left here then. Into the stand. Okay, one. It's a very long taxi. Poor BA pilots, you have to do this every time in IRL. Just put on the brakes. Make that turn. Like so. That's a stand right there. Interesting. Is this cargo? Maybe? Not too sure. Right. Don't need the lights anymore. No point having them on. And here we are. Echo 1's just over there. We'll make our way in. By the looks of it, we've got a free roam over the taxiway. Awesome. In we come. Line yourself up with the yellow line here. And obviously you can either use, well, we've got the Marsha from GSX that could be a safe gate or whatever. SOD, or whatever thing is helping you park up. If not, then you can obviously just cheat. Go on the outside view and line yourself up with the correct stop position. By the looks of it, we actually meant to stop here. Don't know how correct GSX. Ah, it's actually correct. Nice. Stop there. Park up by setting the parking brake. And if you were clever enough, you would have started the APU already. But once again, I was too preoccupied about talking and being very informational and totally forgot about the APU. Same as I did with the lights. Let's go and get the APU started up. Okay, we're good pilots. We got the APU running as soon as we parked up. Yep. And what you're going to do is shut down the engines. Like so. You set this TCAS to standby. If you're in the US, you set it now. If not, then it would have already been in standby since you exited the runway. So seatbelt signs can go off, beacon light can go off, and you can go and request deboarding from GSX if you've got GSX. And there we are. So, shutdown. You can either leave the RSs on or off. I don't know if you're going to have a full shutdown, but they can stay on for now. You can go and get the external power connected up, shift 2 or click up here, external power and wheel chocks, and you can double check in the system page if it is active or not, because there's the bug. Click it on, there you go, it is now active, so you can turn off your APU. And then you can come to the hydraulic page, you can switch all them off. Oh, don't need to click it in the wrong order. Those can go off, and the fuel pumps can go off, and then this can stay on as auto, and everything else all left as is. This is how I like to typically leave the aircraft when I park up. If I was going to do a return flight, maybe not straight away or at some other time, I'll leave the aircraft as this state. You can also go and save your aircraft state. I'm not too sure if it. Find out where to go. In at ref index, you can save the panel, and you can save it here. You can load up this panel state when you want to do your return or something, which is pretty cool. So it's left as you last left it. And there you go, AP generator is now off. So you go to the checklist page, you can see the shutdown, hydraulic panel set. I'm assuming it wants these to be on, and there you go. Yeah, so those should be on, not off. I'm making a tutorial, I don't even know how to shut down the aircraft. Park and brake. It isn't actually needed when you've got wheel chocks, but the GSX doesn't know you've got wheel chocks, so say it, I have to keep it on. And that's the secure. If you're going to do a full shutdown back at base, so the aircraft's back at base at say Heathrow, you would follow this, but we're not, so we're not going to do that. GSX is moaning about the doors not being opening, so let's go and open up those doors there. Go outside. Yeah, GSX was a bit off, but whatever. Is it me, or is the baggage loaders invisible? Ah, are they inside the ground? Indeed they are. Indeed they are. Well, that's funky. But these guys aren't. Not like GSX, everything other than these guys are fine. Anyway, that is the aircraft fully shut down, and we've completed our tutorial. sad to see us go, but I'll come back in a full flight video or even another tutorial. That is really putting me off. It's like pressing the vehicle. I've never had that from GSX ever. So there we go. Let's finish off the video on this side, shall we? So hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed the flight itself. If you just came here to watch the flight, and I'll see you in the next video, which should be a full flight video. It could be even another tutorial video. If you want a tutorial video on something else, then please comment down below so I can get it up on the priority list. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye for now.